Oh boy, it's time to split the fan base because of Nintendo stupid shit. Right, let's speed through all the normal sections, because let's be honest, you don't need to hear me review like 20-year-old games that have not been changed, like, even a little bit. They still look fine. 64, Sunshine and Galaxy still look great. The water in Sunshine in that Sunset Hotel, that still looks fucking gorgeous. And with a few extra visual enhancements of 16:9 and 60 FPS, it looks a little crisper. But Spyro, could you imagine? I'm saving all that. I know what you're going to say. I'm saving all that for the end. Right now, lightning round on the 20-year-old games. Next. Still sounds great. 64 Road to Bowser, still a fantastic theme.
I gaze through the darkness to find starlight. They illuminate me to guide me tonight.
All the tropical music. The full orchestral music of Galaxy like Gusty Gardens. No issues. A+ on the music, still really nice. The story is not, I just banged my hand. The story in not all three, cause that hurt. The story in all three has not changed, and it is fine. It is the simplistic Bowser kidnaps Peach, and you need to go find 120 stars / shine sprites / galactic stars to get her back. Well, I mean, you only need around 70 per game, but everybody always goes for the full 120, so it works, no complaints. Aside from 64 that we'll get into in a bit, you know, the Shindo version and all that, the gameplay is unaltered. It still feels just as good. Them nice tight controls of Sunshine combined with Flood's moves feels really great. Plus, the added plus now to Mario Galaxy, it feels even better as you can use a Pro Controller and just press a button for the spin rather than shaking a stick. And it also feels better to hold a controller rather than the stick and nunchuck. So the gameplay in Galaxy is unaltered, but it feels even better because you get to hold an actual real controller instead of a Wiimote, and you don't have to shake it around to spin. You can just press the button. So yes. So as you can see, I put intro because I'm going to split this bit into sections itself, because in and of itself, just from how this collection has been created, we have to break down each of the debates into sections, because you can start saying one debate and then just get sidetracked by another. So we'll kind of keep on topic and go section by section throughout this entire shit show. So let's get the obvious one out the way first, being these are not remakes, they're just ports, which we'll dive into in a minute. That is one of the bigger issues, but I just want to say that they are ports. They are unaltered, aside from like a HD filter, which you can get on emulators, and only like 2 of them need the 16:9 thing, because the one we're talking about first is Mario Galaxy. Mario Galaxy was on the Wii, which in of itself is already pretty much a HD console. You know, it's not quite there. It wasn't quite in that HD generation, because around that time, you know, the release of the PS3, the Xbox 360, the Wii, we were starting, not quite, you know, that came with the PS4, the Xbox One and the Wii U, but around that time of the PlayStation 3, 360, Wii, we were starting to move towards that HD generation. So we were pretty much on the cusp. So Mario Galaxy itself, in terms of its visuals, you can't really HD Mario Galaxy because it already pretty much looks HD. So in terms of Mario Galaxy, it is a unaltered port. It is just purely unaltered in terms of the visuals. So if this is a unaltered port, then the question comes from the critics side, why not make this a 4-pack? Because if these are just ports, which they are, which we'll get into, then why not just port Galaxy 2? It's not going to take that much space on the cartridge to just add it onto the cartridge, and it's not going to change anything. You're just adding another one in. And there has been a majority saying both sides of the argument, and I see both sides of the argument. As I say, the critic side, it's like, well, yeah, if these are just ROMs, which they really are, then why not just add the Galaxy 2 ROM? On the other hand, from the Nintendrones, there has been several defences for this. One, I can kind of see them all. Number one, Galaxy 2 had an incredibly troubled development. It started right after Galaxy 1. Like, Galaxy 1 came out, and after the first day of sales, which did very, very well, Shigeru Miyamoto was like, hey, day 1 sales are really, really good. Why don't we make another one right now? Let's get started. Let's go, team. So, we've only just finished the first one. It's only been out a day. No, I want number 2. So, you know, the staff were a little bit demoralised because they felt like all their work was, I wouldn't say wasted, but it's just like the train keeps rolling. They're feeling the burn a bit, and it's like, but we can't do anything more with it. And then the lead director of Galaxy 2 was trying to put more story on to, you know, elaborate on Rosalina, elaborate on that little backstory where her parents went and she went into space. So, like, he's trying to put story in, and Shiggy's saying, stop putting story in my Mario game. What the fuck are you doing? Sir, there's nothing wrong with story in the Mario game. No, fuck you. This is my Mario, no story. Well, fuck you too. We're gonna put a story in. You want me to fucking come down there, Mr. Mario 2 director? You come down here, Shiggy. Step to me, Shiggy. So they were at each other's throats. So we had troubled development to start off with. Secondly, because of this troubled development, everything's reused. A lot of stuff is just reused, like the bosses. You know, we've got Dino Piranha in Good Egg Galaxy. Oh, one's wearing the eggshell diaper and the other's fully walking around, but it's still Dino Piranha in Good Egg Galaxy. And then it gets even more lazy because the team's demoralised with Buzz Bomber. It's literally, quite literally, copy-paste assets. Look at this. It's quite literally the same asset flying around in the same animation around the same tree. Literally unaltered assets. So, do you really need Galaxy 2? I get that there are a few unique assets like King Lakitu and the smiley snow dude and the Yoshi stages. They were quite fun, but they're not really enough to make a complete package. So either you could have made like a deluxe version, like Mario Galaxy Cosmic Edition, which just added one extra room to the Comet Observatory, where all the best bits of Galaxy 2 were. So while it's stupid that Galaxy 2 did not make it in some capacity or another, like just by adding the extra ROM or cutting out the best bits for like a Cosmic Edition, it's a minor issue. But I do see where people are coming from, because I don't want to fight the same bosses again. I don't want to feel like I'm playing the same game twice when most of the bosses and assets are reused. So from a consumer standpoint, I don't want to play the same game again, so I don't really care whether it's in or not. And from a developer standpoint, I understand, I get it, this was a troubled development. You had Shiggy and the director constantly at each other's throats wanting to fucking stab each other because one wanted story in the Mario game, the other didn't want story in the Mario game. You had the staff, a day after the release of Galaxy 1, being that they got to come up with new ideas, let's go, let's keep making stuff. They're demoralized. So like, if the developers also want to move past this point, if they are like, you know, I kind of don't like that, I kind of feel like it was garbage, if they don't like it and they want to move on from what could have been a bad time in their life, that's fine. And again, most of the assets are reused anyway, so but then there'll be people saying like, okay, but even if it's trash, I like that trash, I like that shit, so why not just port it? So I can see both sides of the argument, but like, if we're divvying up points here, I guess just for the sake of being nice, I will give 1 point to the Nintendrones, where it's like, yeah, we are playing the same game again, it's got reused bosses, so and you know, the developers don't want to go back to that time in their life, so like, while it's not ideal, I'll give a point to the Nintendrones. But you know, this is a minor issue. This is the tip of the iceberg. Every copy is personalized Mario iceberg. This is the tip of the iceberg for the real issues, which we're now going into. So let's go, you know, let's play the Mario iceberg. We've touched the iceberg. Let's go even deeper into the shallow waters for the real issues. So our first problem lies in the fact of what these things clearly are. No matter how much people try and say the extra things justify it, it does not. Due to PC being able to achieve the exact same thing for years now, and from how it looks, I would not be surprised if we found out that this is the PC version, like that time Nintendo uploaded a ROM of an old Mario game and in the file was literally the signature of the ROM website. I am not even joking, you are seeing the article on screen. So all three are literally just the ROM, unaltered and unedited in any way, shape or form. Then ran through an emulator to give it the 16:9 monitor support, the uncapped frame rate of 60 FPS unless it's Mario 64 that's still running in 30 for God knows what reason, because it's fucking the modern day, current year argument, and 60 FPS on any console, on any game, remade or not, because PC can do it, 60 should be your bare minimum. 30 is just, Jesus Christ. But Mario 64 aside, you know, it's clear that these are just unaltered ROMs run through the emulator to give them 16:9 monitor support, uncapped frame rates of 60 FPS, even though it's not truly uncapped because PC can go to 120 and higher, and then just a little smoothing tool to make the polygons less polygonal. For Sunshine or Galaxy, this is hardly an issue. They were on more powerful consoles allowing for more polygons, so aside from the 16:9 60 FPS, it's hardly noticeable. No, it's not even noticeable at all in Galaxy, because Galaxy still looked that good. It just needed to be like in 1080p, so Galaxy still looks fine. But for 64, for Mario 64, it really shows just how lazy it is. And we all know it's purely a ROM given these enhancements via any emulator that is out on PC. This is our first problem, which in of itself creates two problems. Problem number one, the emulated experience is now superior, no matter which way you slice it. As it is, just the ROM alone, the emulated experience on PC can now not only offer truly uncapped frame rates and more size presets that are even greater than 16:9 if you're running on a 4K monitor, and so on. I mean, this is minor. I do not expect a console to ever match a 4K 120 FPS for a Mario 64 game, but you know, this is a minor issue, and I don't expect consoles to match the PC version. But more importantly, Mario 64 on PC has full modding support, especially with the Omen archive leak. That within this leak was found the Mario 64 source code, meaning there is now no limit to what anyone can do. Think of the source code like a key, and Omen and the stuff contained within as a locked box. With the key, the box was open, and any limits or restrictions once held are no more. And what did people find in this box? Well, they found things both fascinating and exciting, like Luigi has been in the game all along. And for the iceberg meme, haha, funny dude, the key, the source code key, was dropped 24 years and 1 month after Mario 64's release date, just to make the L is real 2401 prophecy come true. Ha 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 ha. But more than that, like, forget the meme zone, more than that, we found all the beta assets, the beta Chukya enemies, loads of dropped levels and dropped assets. There was so much inside the Omen archive, or at least the real version, like the actual one that got leaked with all the Zelda stuff, not the haha funny iceberg version. And now that people had that key to unlock it, do you know what they did with that key? They took Mario 64 and remade it to what could be classified to its full glory. Lethal Lava Land now had fully animated, fully scripted, fully working Bob-omb Chukyas, the blog, even though this is the first attempt at it, the blog re-put into lava, jumping up and down. Luigi was fully reconstituted to be a playable character, and all them dropped levels and dropped level areas, they were glued back together, and the stars for them courses, or at least what could be found, were added. And most of all, in the Omen archive was all the original HD textures for both Mario 64 and Zelda Ocarina of Time. Like all the Zelda items, look at this! This is the assets for an N64 game, just in case it got remade in the future, which it did on the 3DS. You can see the stitching on the goddamn shirt. That was made like 24 years ago. That is fucking crazy. So, now as you can imagine, this is setting expectations. You see, while there is a couple of broken doors, which you'll see in this clip that I'm showing. While there is a couple of broken doors, you can see how clean and crisp both the outside and the inside of the castle are. Going then even further with this HD concept, people were ripping enemies and assets out of other Mario games like the new Super Mario and adding them in. Bob-omb Battlefield. Look at the Bob-ombs. They look a whole lot better. They've got the King Bob-omb, like the Mario Party King Bob-omb in there. The same model for the Womp King from Mario Galaxy 2. So as you can imagine, with the 35th anniversary coming up, if, as it was not confirmed at the time, but what if the rumours of 64 are true? If the rumours were true, everyone's expectations were through the roof. We could finally see a true Crash/Spyro remake, where we would see like the original and then a power star twinkle past shooting across the screen, turning the old into the new. It looks like Reignited Trilogy, oh my god. Hell, as they did with Crash, there were fully remade beta levels like Stormy Ascent, and Stormy Ascent was unaltered. It had the same platforming puzzles as was shown in the beta level. It was just as soul crushing as the original beta version, especially for the fucking relic. Oh god, the gold relic on Stormy Ascent. Ah! So, you know, if they were going to do that for Crash, if Crash was using beta assets and fully remaking beta levels like Stormy Ascent, then this rumoured Mario 64 may also do the same. We may finally get the Bob-omb Chuckya in Lethal Lava Land officially remade. And hell, with the popularity of the iceberg meme, you could have even had a bit of extra fun with a reference or two, like a sign on the very entrance of the castle door being written as by Bowser, being like, "Mario, I have learned from my mistakes, and I know how you jump, I know how you move, and I will personalize your experience through this castle to stop you." It wouldn't do that, but it would be a bit of a giggle for everybody that's like, haha, every copy is personalised. Or like Animal Crossing. If you were to go through the 30-star door in the basement on Saturday at 3:33 AM, you would see the Space World Wario head being like, "You want fun? Wario show you fun." It would not do anything, it would not move, it would serve no purpose whatsoever, but it's just a goof. It's just a little goof for people that would get it if they actually stayed up till 3:33 AM. Of course, expectations and reality are two very different things. And so the finger on the monkey's paw curls as everybody got their wish of Mario 64 HD, but the monkey's paw showed that it wasn't a real remake like Crash or Spyro. It was 3 ROMs with a few extra video settings like 16:9, and thus our first problem of critics versus Nintendrones occurs. Whether or not you consider an emulator ethical or legal is irrelevant. Well, at least till we get to the later problem. But for now, whether or not you consider emulation ethical or legal is irrelevant, as no matter what side of the fence you sit on the legality of an emulator, one thing was made concrete, absolutely clear, cold hard fact for the critics. That was, A, these assets and textures that were found in the Omen archive could very easily have been put into Mario 64, and we could have very easily had a remade game. But these assets are not in this All-Stars pack. So no matter what, you are now playing an inferior version. There are now files out there of complete Mario 64s. There are files out there for emulators where if you jump into Lethal Lava Land, you're going to see this dude walking around Lethal Lava Land. That is, whether or not you say it's legal, that doesn't matter. That means that this version is now, cold hard fact, a more complete version, because it has the extra enemies, it has the extra levels, it has the extra stars. So from a just game standpoint, you're playing the inferior version. This is coming from the critics' side. And B, considering the effort put in to the Reignited trilogy and the Insane trilogy, both of these are fully from the ground up remakes, and you can get both trilogies for £40 English, 45 US dollars. That is a full from the ground up remake. Nintendo is selling 3 ROMs, unaltered, unchanged, for $60. Just overall, from a critical standpoint, making it lesser when it comes to the value of the product. Do you, as the consumer, want to spend $60 for 3 ROMs, or $45, $15 cheaper, for 3 ground-up remakes? Do you see the problem? Now, the Nintendrones fire back with, "Hey, that was you. That was you getting hyped via the Omen Archives leak." Because Nintendo, and I agree, Nintendo hates piracy, Nintendo hates emulators, and considering the Omen Archive leak was for emulation and emulators, Nintendo would never acknowledge such a leak ever happened. So you expecting the Beta Bob-omb, all these extra levels, you expecting things from the Omen Archive leak that were never going to be acknowledged because Nintendo wouldn't acknowledge piracy? You're a fool. That's you. That's you acknowledging, or that's you getting excited for a thing that Nintendo would never acknowledge. Maybe, but fair point, I guess. Again, I'll give a point to the Nintendrones there, because yes, Nintendo is very antsy when it comes to things on PC, even though they should just release their games on PC at this point. Like, we'll come to that when we get to the ethics of emulation, but fair point, I guess. However, the second part that the Nintendrones bring up, B, Nintendo never said it was a remake, and even then, why are you being so negative? Why can't I just enjoy the fact that these 3 games are going to now be on the Switch? Critics respond, "No, we are happy. It's nice to have a complete library on one system, not scattered across all the systems, but it's still a poor price for 3 ROMs, and considering all the cease and desists of things like Mario 64 HD and so on, you would think that they were doing that because they were making a HD version and not just the ROMs." The Nintendrones firing back again, using a company that is in Nintendo's pocket, of GameXplain, who made a video desperately trying to say that these 3 games are more than just ports, saying that they are enhanced versions via things like 60 FPS and 16:9. Critics firing back, making a snarky comment of, "Okay, so they're not just ROMs, they're enhanced ROMs." But on a more serious comment, that is a pathetic argument, as the emulators have been able to do this for literal years, and so has the Switch. See Mario Odyssey that runs in 60 FPS. But moreover, okay, so you're saying, Game Explain, that 3 16:9 ROMs justifies charging $15 more than 3 ground up remakes. And the war now never stops. Regardless of whether you sit in this battle, what should be the great move, should I buy it? Regardless of all this, the war now never stops, literally because Nintendo has played the Todd Howard. We need 16 times the detail for Fallout 76. And everybody's like, ooh, 16 times the detail, it comes out, it looks like shit. When challenged on this, Todd Howard pulled what the Nintendrones are pulling. No, you, the viewer, you, the audience, you, the consumer, misread what I said. You see, it is 16 times the detail, which it is, by the way. You see, if we look at Fallout 4, any shot of Fallout 4, what do you see? You see dead trees. You see no grass on the ground. It's a blank, barren world. We take a shot of Fallout 76 just as soon as you step out the vault. What do we see? A whole load of trees, fully fucking grown with all the leaves. We look at the ground, fully done with a bunch of grass. It's not 16 times the detail because it looks 16 times better. It's 16 times the detail because there's 16 times more shit on the trees and on the ground. There's 16 times more leaves than this picture that has no leaves. There's 16 times more grass than this that has no grass. So I didn't lie. Me, myself, Todd Howard, I didn't lie. I told the truth. But you misinterpreted my truth. So I didn't lie. It is 16 times the detail, and that's the game that we're currently in with you know, Nintendrones versus critics. Nintendo, technically, to the letter, did not lie. Nintendo did say that it was a HD remake, and technically, by a technical to the word standpoint, 16:9, a texture smoother, and 60 FPS, these are HD visuals. No matter which way you look at it, those are HD visuals. So like Todd Howard, Nintendo never lied. Nintendo always said that there was a Mario HD, and they're not technically wrong. So that is now an excuse that the Nintendrones are using, that, you know, you're misinterpreting it. And now the war never stops. Regardless of whether you sit in this battle, what should be a great moment, what should be a monumental moment, is now stained and tarnished by sheer laziness, with the biggest argument yet to come. The thing that would happen next week with Age of Calamity's Direct. So then came the new Direct, the new Zelda Direct, with the Zelda Director, Aonuma. And what a fucking Direct, as it basically calls me, and a lot of other critics out. As you see, I don't think that Breath of the Wild is that good of a Zelda game. In fact, I find Breath of the Wild, personally, quite a shit Zelda game. Now, before we get the pitchforks out, I am not going to go into full detail. That could be its own video. I'm going to address my key 4 points, and then I'm going to go to Aonuma's response. So number 1, I personally feel that the world is a barren, empty wasteland with not much to do. Because, you know, everybody's dead, and really the only main objective is completing the 120 shrines. There are no towns aside from 2 because everybody's dead, so I feel like the world is barren. I think the story is boring. Given the fact again that everybody's dead, the best parts of the story come in the flashbacks of the 100-Year War, of Zelda trying to awaken the Triforce of Wisdom, of Mipha and Rivali and the other champions learning how to control the Divine Beasts. All of the best bits of the story are told in flashback. It's a lot more interesting, and I wish I was playing that instead. My third point is I kind of feel like the Champions Ballad DLC is a bit of a lie, as the way the trailer is shot, it really focuses in on the champions, and it is called the Champions DLC, and it makes you believe that you will get to play as the champions. You don't. They don't even appear aside from one cutscene each. It is just Cass chatting shit to you, and then you refighting the same Ganon fight 4 times with nothing changed, and you get one extra cutscene with the champions. So Champions DLC, it's a bit of a lie really. But lastly, the biggest one, I feel, and it's not even a feeling because it's shared by most people, the weapon degradation is pointless. It adds nothing to the game. If you want to say that I misinterpreted the Champions DLC wrong, fine. But one of those points, the weapon fragility, I and several other critics, like Jim Sterling, believe that the weapon degradation is completely fucking pointless and adds nothing to the game.
Are scientifically wrong, as proven by scientists in science experiments who have conclusively proved as evidenced fact that weapon durability systems should fuck off out of video games forever and never come back because they're not fun, they're a pain in the ass, and I personally hate them, which is grounds for me presenting this belief as an objective fact rather than a subjective opinion. Certainly not what I play Zelda games to feel. While some have claimed that late game weapons are durable enough for it to not be a problem, I maintain that even some of the more powerful weapons in the game are miserably brittle, able to withstand maybe a handful of enemies before players get nagged incessantly about how their fun with the weapon they might have been loving is about to conclude in a most pitiful fashion. Once the weapon embarrassingly shatters, players will need to pause their combat, which is always something you want players to do as a designer, and select a new weapon to irreparably damage. Either that, or scrabble for something on the ground, even if it's one of the hundreds of shitty little clubs that will be thrust upon Link, right up until the end of the game. Weapon durability in Zelda has been defended as the game forcing you to use variety, which has become the default defense of pretty much any criticism anybody dares have about the latest precious princeling of the video game world. I don't know about you, but rarely do I think being forced to do something is a positive, especially in a game that touts freedom and versatility as big selling points. There's actually nothing versatile about forcing a player to use lots of different weapons. That's rigidity, not versatility. It's the opposite. Being versatile would mean offering lots of options and encouraging the player to try them, not railroading and shunting them into it.
Normal people, like Alex the Black Fox and Moon Knight, feel the same way, that the weapon fragility system is pointless and adds nothing to the Zelda game because Zelda has worked for 35 years without weapon degradation. And even the Nintendrones, Komori, our straw man who has been wearing the Nintendrone suit and defends a lot more of Breath of the Wild than I do. Because when I was really going on Breath of the Wild when it first came out, Nintendrone over here, a lot more defensive, very defensive against Breath of the Wild. But even they, even most of the Nintendrones, can't justify the weapon degradation, except for a very small subset which I will get into in a brief moment. So, you know, there are problems with the game. And then, now obviously he cannot say this, he cannot come on record and directly say this, because obviously he works for Nintendo, and you can't say these kind of things while working for Nintendo, but it's pretty fucking obvious that there has clearly been, at minimum, a watch, but definitely like the speculation of playing it. But Aonuma has come out and he has definitely played an emulated version, or at the very least watched a modded playthrough where all these mods fix some of these issues, where like a mod removes the weapon degradation. How would Breath of the Wild work without weapon degradation? Rather than spending money on a team researching, let's just go play a mod. How would the world work if it wasn't as dead and barren, if modders added in extra locations, extra characters, extra missions? So like, if he hasn't played a modded version, it's very, very likely that he's at least watched one. And he came out and basically has said, listen, all the people that criticise my game, I get it. And, you know, we can argue back and forth. This is just something I'd like to bring up before we get to Mario's part in all this. But it's like, you know, we could argue back and forth. Well, you know, you wouldn't be getting Age of Calamity if it wasn't for all the fans that liked Breath of the Wild. That's true. Breath of the Wild, very popular game. But it is also the case that the critics that give out these points, it seems very suspicious that Aonuma decided to address the points that are unanimous within the critics, that being the weapon degradation, taking place in the 100-Year War, etc, etc. Yeah, well, how do you know that's not the fans? Because those are the issues of the critics, and those are the 4 key points that Aonuma seems to signal in on. So it's like he has listened, taken the criticism on board, and said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to please both fan bases. I will make a Breath of the Wild 2 that's coming next year, and that might still have all the weapon degradation, it might still have all the bullshit. We don't know. Let's just leave that to the side, but let's just say it is. Let's say that is going to be the proper successor to Breath of the Wild. That pleases all of the Breath of the Wild fans, and then for all the critics that were like, dude, these points, here is Hyrule Warriors 2, which addresses these points. I feel like the weapon degradation is pointless. Okay then. Well, here is a Hyrule Warriors / Dynasty Warriors game that removes the weapon degradation. You can swing your sword with Link till the cows come home. You can do shadow clone jutsu with Impa till the cows come home. No limit. Weapon degradation gone. Oh well shit. Thank you, Mr. Aonuma. But I mean, that still doesn't fix the story, which is fucking boring, because everything happened in the 100-Year War. Okay then. This is a prequel set in the 100-Year War, where everyone is alive. So all those times you see those flashbacks, you will now be engaged. You will now be living out those flashbacks as you wanted. Well, okay, fine. But what about the fact that the world is dead and barren? Ah, well, you see, it takes place during the 100-Year War, and being that we decided to turn this into a Warriors game, the 1 versus 1,000 gameplay, you will be seeing armies upon armies clashing upon these giant fields as the war for Hyrule rages around you. Alright, well, last critical point. Playing as the champions in the Champions Ballad DLC. There you go. Here is person playing as Mipha. Here is person playing as Rivali Senpai. Here is person playing as Daruk's Protection, ready to roll. Well, fuck. You addressed all my issues. I can't say anything to you. And now, after the Tokyo Game Show, where we got to see a little bit more of this, and we actually got to see, obviously, Impa doing the Shadow Clone thing, so we got an in-depth look. Now, you know, I will fucking... Give me the suit for a second here, Kamori. I'll be the Nintendrone for a moment and play devil's advocate. I am very excited for this. This is a excited moment for me. Because it's like, you didn't have to do this, Aonuma. You didn't have to go and listen to all the negative points and then make a game based on those negative points. You did not have to do that. You could have just said, nah, 97% of the fan base has agreed that it's a good game, and that other 3% can go fuck themselves. You didn't have to address those points, and you did. Because you respect both sides of your audience. You respect all the fans that like Breath of the Wild, and you're making Breath of the Wild 2, and you respected all the critics that give you some legitimate criticism, and you give them a Hyrule Warriors game. So, and you know, I've heard a slight backlash to this from people like Tyler saying, yeah, but now it's not a Zelda game. You know, it's obviously just Dynasty Warriors with a Hyrule Warriors skin. So it's like, you said the Breath of the Wild was a bad Zelda game because it didn't have dungeons, which it doesn't. I don't count two-minute mini-game rooms like that fucking golf shrine that uses the motion sensors. But it's like, you criticised Breath of the Wild for not having dungeons. And now that it's a full Warriors game, that's not gonna have dungeons. So like, dude, and it's like, yeah, I understand. This isn't a proper Zelda game, but at the same time, it's basically what everybody asked for. A war simulator simulating the war that happened 100 years ago where Link is going to fail, the champions are going to fail. And it's a prequel, like, do you expect the world? No, of course not. I expect to see Link wake up, Link assemble the champions, and then get his ass beat to hell and back by Ganon, which would start the points of Breath of the Wild. I'm not expecting the world. I am just grateful that Aonuma took all the criticism on board, and then said, here is a spin-off game directly for all of you people like Spyro and Jim Sterling that said all these points were bad. And it's like, oh, well, that's great. Thank you, Mr. Aonuma. Now, let's tie this back round. Because now we get into the shit. This is where we tie it all back round to the fucking garbage clown circus that is about to take place with Mario. Oh, and by the way, just one point I almost forgot. Doesn't have weapon degradation. Hardcore Breath of the Wild zealots. It doesn't. It's playing perfectly fine without it. Almost like the entire world works perfectly fine without it. Because I have had conversations with very hardcore Breath of... Not even a Nintendrone. Not even just like, oh, I like Nintendo, I'll defend Nintendo. I have had conversations with hardcore, die-hard, will fucking commit seppuku Breath of the Wild fans, where it's like the degradation doesn't work. And they are adamant. Adamant! How dare you say it doesn't? Breath of the Wild could not, the entire Breath of the Wild timeline could physically not function without weapon degradation. That's why the soldiers in the 100-Year War lost. Their weapons were cleaved in twain by Ganon's forces. They were decimated. And when you lose a weapon, that gives you the incentive to go back to the same fucking dungeon for the 50th fucking time to pick up the same sword that will break the world. The entire Breath of the Wild timeline physically could not work without degradation, you stupid fucking purple dragon.
Really don't fucking get it. And I certainly don't get the claims that A, this game wouldn't work without weapon fragility, because it would. No, I mean, it literally would. Zelda has worked for decades without it. It'd do just fine, mate, and...
Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, here it is. Working. Without weapon degradation. Oh no! So please hardcore Breath of the Wild must suck Breath of the Wild's dick. Please, Breath of the Wild zealots, please now explain to me, if the entire Breath of the Wild universe could not work without weapon degradation, how come it can physically work without weapon degradation in Age of Calamity? Just need to bring that up. But no, my main point is, Aonuma listened to the critics and he made a spin-off game that isn't the direct sequel, that's coming next year. Aonuma respected both parts of his fan base. He respected everybody that liked Breath of the Wild and is keeping Breath of the Wild 2 going, and he respected the critics and made the spin-off to take place in the past. Mr. Aonuma respected his fan base. Over to the Mario side.
Except that there's just a chance you might detect their attitude. It's nothing underhanded, why it's simple etiquette. Someone's gotta lose or else the prize is not competitive.
Shigeru Miyamoto and his team do not. And this is where, you know, like I have made fucking jokes about, you know, all the things you've seen. And I've got another picture for you of me as Grogar, because I have been compared to him. Oh, you're just a sad, depressed goat. You're just a mean old goat. Why are you a mean old grumpy goat? Why can't you just enjoy the funny Italian man going, woohoo! Hey, nice of the princess to invite us for a picnic, gay Luigi. I hope she made lots of spaghetti. Why can't you just enjoy the funny wahoo man? Why you gotta be a mean old goat? And like, it's because they are fucking up. And everybody can see it. But it's because it's Nintendo. Because Nintendo's such the fucking golden boy, they get a free pass. We have already talked about, in the previous section, by a purely technical standpoint. No mods, no hacks, no bullshit. By a purely technical standpoint, this is a bad value proposition. You are getting 3 unaltered ROMs. Nothing's changed except a slight bit of text just to match the new control scheme. You are getting 3 unaltered ROMs for $60 versus 3 ground up remakes completely remade with new graphics and new technology for $45. On a technical standpoint, it is a bad business proposition. But now we go one step down the rabbit hole, where we talk about what I was talking about in the previous section. Because in the previous section, I said, whether you believe emulators are ethical or legal, let's put that for a side, look at the value proposition. Now we're going to bring that question back, because what has Nintendo just done? Aside from the 3 unaltered ROMs, they put manufactured scarcity on it. Now, I will fucking, let me just put on the drone suit. Let me just be the Nintendo drone for 2 more seconds. Because there are some people that are going to fucking rail at me for this particular point. But it's like, dude, I get it. Because both the physical and the digital are limited. And I have said I can understand the physical, which I've got a bit of backlash for. But let me be the Nintendo drone and defend them for 2 moments, right? If the physical is limited, I fucking understand that. Because one major factor, we are in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. And given what happened in the UK over the past week with fucking idiots that don't fucking get it, you can probably see why this is limited. Because you see, in the UK, there are anti-vaxxers, you know, they don't want to wear their mask, so a bunch of people went into the streets of London protesting without their masks. This led to 43 people getting arrested. And during that entire day of protests, where 43 people got arrested, in one single day, we had 50,000 new cases. 50,000 in one day. And now we're in lockdown too. I can't leave my fucking house, or the police will be like, why the fuck are you leaving your house? Get back in there. We are now in lockdown 2.0 because fucking idiots refuse to believe that this shit is actually fucking real and going to fucking kill people. So it's like, I get it. I understand. Where it's like, hey, the physical is limited because if anybody goes into the factory to make more of this physical thing, they will physically fucking die. Like, not even joking, like, haha, they'll die. No, they will literally die if they are in that factory for too long. So it's like, I get why the physical is in limited availability. Just a fucking Nintendo defending the limited feasibility, Spyro. Corona's not real and the Earth is flat. Yeah, fucking clearly. Fucking clearly. But, okay, there you go. There's your little defense. Back to being a mean old goat. Back to being a grumpy, miserable, depressed goat. Because the digital! It's like that fucking console from the fucking Disney show. The world's most advanced gaming console. It's spherical! Spherical! The digital is fucking limited. Nintendo, the digital is limited. You know, the ROM file that can be copied and pasted in an infinite amount with no upper limit. Because it has been copied and pasted in an infinite amount with no upper limit on PC. We've seen millions of people pirate the Mario 64 ROM. Literal fucking millions, because there is no upper limit on a digital thing. That shit, what the actual fuck is wrong with you, Nintendo? Like, I'm trying, Nintendo. I am trying. You know, I am saying Anuma's a nice man for the thing he did. I am trying to defend your fucking physical release, because if your workers go into the factory, Corona-chan's gonna be like, hey, so I see you're in the factory, you're gonna die now. Like, I am trying, Nintendo. I am fucking trying. But you make it very hard when your intelligence is on the level of a wet tea bag. That is to say, no intelligence whatsoever. There is no excuse. None. Zero. No excuse for the digital version to be limited to March 31st. But we know why. Knock your fucking bowl of water over. We know why. Because it's mental manipulation. It's FOMO, fear of missing out. Then we have to play the Turolf Jernstrom card.
Office and scarcity plays into the loss aversion. If there are rare cards up here, and you see the goblin going with his clocks tick-tock, I'll take it away from you, I'll take it away from you. They are scarce, they go away. This is a brilliant way to get more people to spend more.
Oh yes, Mario is limited. The goblin, you can fucking Miyamoto. Let's just change that little goblin face to Miyamoto. The goblin Miyamoto is there with his clock. Tick tock, I'll take it away from you. I'll take it away from you. And it's creating that sense of fear because it's like, well, you know, Sunshine has never been ported. Never. This is the first ever time Sunshine's going to be ported. So do you want to miss out on it? Ooh, you've only got 2 months to decide. Clock's ticking, Twilight. Clock's ticking. What you gonna do? You're gonna miss out on it. And people are fucking buying it because they don't want to miss out on their port of fucking Sunshine. Because, you know, and I'm just as guilty. I'll admit, I'm just as guilty because I wanted to play fucking Sunshine. But we know what you're doing. We know what you're doing, and it's fucking disgusting, Nintendo. It's fucking bullshit. But more importantly, what do you think is gonna happen on March 31st, Nintendo? Because let's face it, let's again use the Corona card. We're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. Not many people have got jobs right now. So like, ooh, You know, I want a $300 console, the Switch. I want a $300 console, can't afford it right now. But next year, you know, I've saved up money, I got some Christmas money from my family, I got my birthday money from Valentine's Day. My birthday's not on Valentine's Day, but you know, I'm just using a holiday that's just before March. But it's like, ooh, we saved up some Christmas money from Christmas, saved up some Valentine's money from my birthday, and I'm just about getting ready to have enough money. And I buy me Switch, and then I gotta save up 60 for Mario. Oh, it's past March, you can't get it anymore, sorry, too bad. You should have spent money faster, you should have saved money faster, even though, like, you know, you don't really have a job right now, and you need to fucking save every penny you've got, and you were lucky to even get the Switch. You're pissing people off. So what do you think's gonna happen, Nintendo? Please tell me, what do you actually think's gonna happen? I am a sign. I am sign. Oh god, and we've got the thing on the thumbnail. Just please, 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 where's the star? Where's the star? Just go. No, no. The star's gotta come. The star. But the star. Pink Bob-omb, let me have these coins. Please, Pink Bob-omb. We're getting the red coins. Just go. Just... Why? Why? Why would you do this? Stop. Oh my god. It's on screen right now. It's on screen right now. Oh my god, Spyro! That's the fucking Mario Chaos! That's an emulator! You fucking... Spyro's fucking emulating. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. I am emulating. That is Mario 64 Chaos Edition that you are seeing on screen. Now, obviously, as said, I'm just as guilty. There it is on me fucking Switch. I goddamn bought it for the stream. Like, yeah, I'm just as fucking guilty because I did want Mario on me fucking portable device. But it's like, that's Chaos Edition. And this is what's gonna happen. Because this is something that the game industry just can't get through their fucking head. They don't get it through their fucking skull. That they could literally, quite literally, erase piracy overnight. If the game industry really wanted to, it could just get rid of piracy in one single night. People pay for convenience. And if you do not match that convenience, this is the result. People will pirate. People will pay for convenience. If you were to put Mario 64, because it's a 20-year-old game, you ain't fucking making money on it anymore, Nintendo. Don't act like you're making money on your 20-year-old game. And I'm not asking for brand new Switch games, alright? I'm not asking for Pokemon Sword and Shield or fucking Animal Crossing New Horizon. But if you put Mario 64 on Steam, officially, you sold it for $5 or $10, do you know how quick all these ROMs of Mario 64 would go away? Do you know how easily you would erase the fucking N64 emulator, Nintendo? Like that. Gone. In one night. Because people will pay for convenience. And when you are creating manufactured scarcity, when you are saying that Mario 64 will go away after March, people that don't get it before March, what do you think they're gonna do? Well, I want to play Mario again, and you're saying that it's gone now. You said it's limited, so I'm gonna go download Toad's Tools. I'm gonna go download the emulator, and I'm gonna go get that ROM, because you can't stop the ROMs. No matter, it's like a Hydra, Nintendo. No matter how many heads you cut off, for every one head you cut off, 3 more are gonna grow, because people will pay for convenience. So the second March 31st rolls around, and you take your Mario game off the eShop, off the fucking physical shelves. Once that's gone, and people don't have that convenience anymore, they will look for a more convenient method. which is they will download the emulator, they will download the ROM, they will pirate the game because pirating is more convenient. So why, Nintendo, now that you are literally having the chance to stop this forever, why the fuck are you making the thing that everybody wants limited? Why? Why are you doing this? Answer me that question. That's the first problem. The second problem arises. Now, I did touch on this in the hey, let's ignore emulators for a moment, with the Omen archives and everything that was found in the Omen archives, like the beta Bob-omb. No matter what, the emulated version is now a more complete experience. They've added the beta Bob-omb, they've added the blog, they have added all this extra shit. It is now undisputably, undeniably a more complete experience. But not only that, it is now a more quality experience. While I was editing this, you might have seen my little mock-up where I said, oh, you know, the Mario star flies past and turns the old into the new. Or if I didn't say that, here it is now. Like, this is a bullshit transition that I made. Old into the new. This is because modders have made what everybody was asking for. Mario 64 HD. They redid all the textures to look nice. Look at that fucking King Bob-omb. Holy shit, can we compare the two? This is what it looks like on the fucking Switch. This is the model on the PC in Mario 64 HD. Everybody was expecting, considering it's your 35th anniversary, as it was Crash, as it was Spyro, that got the Insane Trilogy and the Reignited Trilogy, 2 ground-up remakes. Everybody was expecting, if not a full ground-up remake, sure, let's just play devil's advocate because of Corona. Let's say you couldn't make a full ground-up remake. They were at least expecting a HD version with all of these HD textures, with better fucking controls. Because right now, Mario 64 is showing its goddamn age. The controls in Mario 64 on the Switch feel like arse. He slips and slides all over the place like he's covered in fucking butter. So, like, you have to fight with him. And the fucking camera, Jesus Christ, that fucking camera. Holy goddamn shit, that fucking Mario 64 camera is fucking dog shit. It is so bad. It is so bad. Mario 64 shows its age. It shows that it is aging, and like it's aging fucking poorly. And there was points playing it both on the stream and offline. There was points where I'm saying I prefer chaos controls. Like when I am fighting with the chaos controls, when I am fighting with the chaos camera, when Lakitu slams a couple of Crystal Head vodkas and oh, there he goes over there, Lakitu, can I have the camera back? I feel like I've got more control in Chaos Edition than I do in regular Mario. Now think about it. I just want you to think. I want that to sink in. I want that to sink into your heads. When I have no control, when Discord is playing Puppet and he has all the control, when he's in control of the camera, throwing it up in the air so I can't see, when Discord is playing Puppet and has full control of my controls and I am moving beyond my volition, when Discord has the controls, I feel like I have more control than the normal default fucking game. Now this isn't to say the same applies to Sunshine and Galaxy. Galaxy controls very, very well, because obviously it was on the Wii, it was on modern technology, well, you know, modern at the time, it was on more modern technology. Mario Galaxy plays very well. Sunshine, because of FLUDD, you know, you can kind of glide and shift your weight a bit with FLUDD. FLUDD kind of offsets that butteriness a little bit. So, like, Mario Sunshine still feels good. And both cameras, you know, the GameCube had the C-stick. So when you're rolling the camera around in Sunshine, you got the C-stick. It works. When you're moving the camera around in Galaxy, it's more linear, but it still works. But because Mario 64 was on the N64, because it had like just the camera buttons and not full like camera right analog stick, it shows its age. It shows that it's aged like shit. It has aged like shite. So when you get the emulated version that has all these HD textures, that has a mod that fixes the controls, that tightens up the controls, that fixes the camera, because obviously like with the emulated experience, you can have a 360 controller or even your Switch Pro controller. You can have these things plugged into the emulator. They have a right stick, so it utilizes a full right stick camera. So it's like, no matter what you say, the emulated version Nintendo is now just the superior version. It is a less quality product. It is a bad quality product. You know, it doesn't take a genius to work out that a 24-year-old game would age like shit, because it just can't keep up with modern technology. But people are defending it. I'm the bad guy. You know, here I am, the miserable old goat. I'm a depressed old goat saying that the Mario game is bad. And I'm not saying they're all bad, because Sunshine and Galaxy still hold up. But I'm here saying, oh, could you imagine if they did a Spyro Reignited trilogy? Could you imagine if we actually had all three ground up remakes rebuilt in the Odyssey engine with Odyssey graphics? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine how much better that would be for $60? But you're the bad guy. I'm the fucking bad guy. You're just a depressed old goat that can't enjoy the Mario games. And I'm like, but dude, Nintendrones, are you that blind? Are you that blind? They're fucking ripping you off. They're ripping you off. Here's 3 unaltered ROMs. 3 unaltered ROMs. They've not even got the HD textures. Here's 3 unaltered ROMs for $60 versus 3 ground up remakes for $45. Can you not see this? Can you not see what they're doing? They're fucking playing you. Oh, you're just a fucking depressed old goat. You're just a depressed old goat. Fucking go hang around with Grogar and talk about like death. You're just a depressed old goat. Fucking let me enjoy my Mario game. And it's like, oh my god. And I know I went off on a tangent there a little bit, but it's like, this is what Nintendo has done, and I hate it, because it's gonna set the precedent. It's gonna set a precedent. These games have aged, at least one of them, mainly 64. The other 2 are okay. You know, maybe Sunshine could have used a touch up with the controls, but 64's aged like shite. But like, it sets the precedent because it's just some ports for $60. And it's the #1 selling on Amazon. It's the #1 seller, best seller on Amazon. And it set the precedent now, because Nintendo's going to be like, oh well, they'll eat up any shit. They'll eat up any old shite. And they'll fucking buy it. They'll buy it. Oh, $60 for some ROMs? We don't have to put any effort in. We don't have to try. We don't have to be an actual fucking company, because we've got enough Nintendrones that will blindly fucking defend this and eat this shit up. And it's like, and it also doesn't help, of course, because of the scarcity. Because it's like, they fucking got you either way. It's like me. I wanted to play fucking Sunshine without having to go through the pain in the arse of an emulator. Because an emulator is quite a pain in the arse to set up. You gotta set it up, you gotta go find the ROM, you gotta make sure the ROM's actually fucking working, you gotta sync your controller up, you gotta set all your controls and map all the buttons, then you gotta like fucking start it up again with the controller. It's a pain in the arse to set emulators up. Like, once they're working, they're fine. But it's like, hey, I just wanna press the on button and play Mario. And it's like, they've got me as well, because it's like, I could not buy it out of principle. And they're like, hey, Spyro, yeah, well, we've got some ports that are fucking $60. I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to spend $60 on Mario Sunshine if it's just a port. Well, it's going away. It's going away in 2 months. Well, that's a bit shit. Well, are you going to miss out on Sunshine? Well, no, I'm not. Oh, are you going to buy it? Yeah, but if I buy it, then that's saying that people will buy ports. Yeah, well, you know, you're going to miss it. So, like, they've got you either way. If you don't buy it and you miss out, you're going to be pissed off. But it doesn't change anything because, like, you want it, but it's fucking limited. So you have no choice but to buy it. You're railroaded into buying it. And after you've been railroaded into buying it, they're like, haha, we manipulated you. We railroaded you into buying it. And now that you've proved you'll buy it, you'll fucking buy another port pack. You'll buy another collection of unaltered ROMs from 20 years ago. And then you're like, well, you know, the terms that you set forth are unfair to the results that will be the outcome. You have skewed you have fucking loaded the dice, Nintendo. You loaded the dice. You cheated the cards. You were at the casino. You were card counting. You knew the outcome because you rigged the roulette machine in your favour. Yeah, but you still fucking fell for it. Oh yeah, you know what? I guess you're right. I guess I did fall for it. So it's like, you know, either way you lose. And then it's like, there's people like me and Moon Knight that are saying 64's bad, and Tyler that's saying the entire fucking collection's bad. We're all here trying to fucking get this through to the Nintendrones that it's bad and it's setting a precedent for Nintendo to do bad habits. But then, you know how I'm dressed up as a fucking miserable old goat? I am the miserable old goat. I'm the bad guy. I'm the one that's being a piece of shit. I'm the one that's going to get skewered. Because I know in the comments, I know there's at least one person that's going to watch this Wonderbolt's Princess Amanetta. I know there's going to be at least one person that watches this who is our absolute blind defender of Nintendo. And when I am here telling you why it's bad, Amanetta is going to come to me, whether it be in comments or on Discord, and say, hey Spyro, you're being a piece of shit. Fucking railing on Nintendo. You're being a piece of shit. And it's like, but Amanetta, can't you see what they're doing? You're just being a piece of shit. You're just a miserable old goat. So yeah, okay, well, can't change your mind. Can't fucking win. If I try and show people the scumminess of AAA, I'm the bastard. If I don't do anything, I'm the bastard. Either way, I fucking lose. But yeah, that's the Mario 3D All-Stars pack. I would say don't buy it. I would say, you know, final verdict, it's a 2 out of 10. Oh, 2 out of fucking 10. 5. I only go up to 5. You don't even have 10 different coloured gems, Spyro. But no, it's below average. It's a 2 out of 5. It's 3 unaltered ROMs for $60. It's nothing special. Especially not Mario 64. That drags the score down immensely. It's nothing special. And Mario 64's aged like shite. It's a 2 out of 5. And I would say, hey, you know, don't buy it. Tell Nintendo why they've done a bad thing. Tell Nintendo why you're unhappy with it. But none of my any statements beyond the score don't matter. Because don't buy it. You've already bought it. It's #1 selling on Amazon. Yeah, I can say don't buy it, but I know you've already bought it. Everybody's already bought it. Everybody's already drinking the Kool-Aid. Let Nintendo know why the limited availability was a bad thing. Let them know why this was a naughty thing for them to do. But you're not, because you're nostalgia blind. You've all got the fucking rose tinted glasses on. You don't want to say Nintendo did a bad. And you're not. Because I'm a netter. And fucking Komori and everybody else, they're already saying, don't just, why can't you just enjoy the Italian Wahoo man rather than being a miserable old goat? So it's like, I can tell you to do all these things. I can say to you, here is an educated, rational thing of why this is bad. But you've already bought it, and any rationale I try and give is already been lost. It's already gone. So I can't change anybody's mind. And Nintendo, they've got you, and the precedent has now been set, and that makes me sad. That makes me, I am so fucking depressed. But yeah, that's it. That's all I can say. I'll try and move on to some more positive stuff. I've got the Pokemon review, which is a bit more positive because, while Sword and Shield isn't the best, hey, at least it's a new game that they made from the ground up and not a fucking 20-year-old ROM that they just ported over completely unaltered. So yeah, that's enough, and I'll just put the Patreon screen up because we've got a second one. If you watch my streams, we're at 2. So big thank you to the Patreons. I do appreciate all the support I get. I know sometimes that I'll say things that'll get me in trouble with YouTube, like it's a Gundam, because I'm not being a good boy like MatPat. I'll be a bit of a sweary boy. I'll be a bit of a negative Nancy, and YouTube don't like that. And after this, after I've said Mario 64 shit, I don't think I'm gonna be getting an interview with Nintendo anytime soon, like the completionist am I. Well, Spyro, I heard that you said that Mario 64 was a bad game. Well, Shiggy, yeah, about that. Get the fuck out of this office. So, after this, I probably won't be getting to talk to Nintendo too much. But, thank you all for all the support. It really does help a lot. I really do appreciate all the comments, the likes, subscribes, all like that. Really, really does mean a lot to me. And, as I said a minute ago, we've got the Patreon screen up. And thank you very much to Deddy and Komori for their support on Patreon. I do appreciate any extra support I am given on Patreon. And there are links down below, as I always do with these outros, to the Patreon. If you would like to support the show even further, you don't have to, but you can for as little as $1, as well as links to the public Discord where you can come in and chat with me, links to my Twitter, see what I'm tweeting, and a link to my Twitch when we are actually streaming this, and the next stream will be more of 64 Chaos Edition. But for now, thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you in the next review or the video. It's probably going to be the next video because that's just the other half of the first Chaos Edition stream. But yeah, thank you all for watching, appreciate the support, and I'll see all of you in the next video.